Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am Pat and I welcome you to the first installment of Forza Versus. In this program we aim to face off two selected cars and declare a winner, but hard numbers won't be a deciding factor here, so the two vehicles will be compared off of the track just as fiercely as on it. For testing we visit Dunsfold Raceway, but we'll leave the lap times to professionals and instead look at straight figures. Before us we have our first contender, the 2005 Subaru WRX STI. Nicknamed the Pig Nose, it features a 2-litre turbocharged flat-4 engine and an all-wheel drive system. Popular for its bang-for-buck performance, each member of this family tree has had its share of lovers and haters. This car has about as many wings as a biplane, and it'll change direction somewhat faster. If you spend some money, there is also a wide range of parts that will take your car from a playful slap on the arse to something about as subtle as a brick to your enemy's face, only with more smiles and less missing teeth. Born and bred for the World Rallying Championship, this compact sedan has had a bitter rivalry with another all-wheel drive powerhouse, which we're not putting it up against today. This is what we're putting it up against, the 2008 Lamborghini Reventon. With 3 times the pistons, half the seats, and a lot more zeros on its price tag, this Lambo takes its angular personality from jets and probably sharp things like British wit. In spite of the carbon fibre throughout the Lambo, it still tips the virtual scales at 1,845 kilograms, 341 kilos heavier than the STI, or about 1,500 double quarter pounder burgers, if you were to minus the pickle, onion, cheese, buns, oh, and the sauce. But with all that tasty meat is moved forward with the extra 238 Newton meters of torque that the Lambo produces. 21 of these Lambos were put together, with the first being placed in a museum. Like many from this Italian bloodline, it is something to behold. If you can, get the chance to see one, or drive it. Mechanically, it's based on a lot of hardware from the Murcielago LP640, with this car having cosmetic changes to make it different from the more plain model that would sit below it on the family tree. Things are touched up and wrenched on for improvements. Doesn't that sound familiar, Subaru? So let's get started with the Subaru. On paper, it's quite good. Thanks to its rally breeding, it's also not bad on grass, dirt, or even tarmac. The specifications, however, read like a regular car. It has seating for 5 midgets, room for a couple of suitcases in the back, and even a dial with numbers that makes it warmer or cooler on the inside. Getting to 100 will take about 5.6 seconds, and after a mile you'll happily be doing over 200 with room to spare. I like to think it's a practical sedan, and I do enjoy the noise that it makes. Compared to today's opponent, it's decently cheaper to buy and more fun to boot. Without the need for flat smooth tarmac, you too can pretend you're Colin McRae Rally jumping speed bumps on your way to wherever. Things I don't like about it would be the factory gold rims, and the fact it's very much point and click. Safe, but lacking a certain crazy point. For its effort and potential, I give it a solid 7 out of 10. It's a good car, but I'm not really ready to call it great. And with that out of the way, we'll move over to the Lambo. It's hard not to gush like a little boy about the Reventon, but that's kind of the point. I mean, they can do this with its exhaust. In 3.5 seconds it hits 100, and then when you go fast, these come up as it keeps moving to 310 plus over the mile. When it's time to slow again, this happens to the brakes. It all screams, "Look at me!" I like the attention it gathers, and the little trick dash that, like the outside, makes you think you're a jet pilot. Compared to the opponent, it's certainly going to increase the dampness of panties even when it's parked. But for all the sights and sound, panel work and toys, I don't actually much care for it. It's too chaotic, busy, or just outlandish for my tastes. Like many Lambos, they're street legal smut, which isn't a bad thing, but that's just my thought. For what it is and what it can do, I'm going to have to give the Reventon a 4 out of 10. It's ballistic, unhinged, and the only thing normal about it is the number of wheels it has. Because of its rarity, price, and practical performance, it makes for a great bit of eye candy, but not a brilliant method of transportation. So the scores are 7 to 4, with the game going to Subaru for their ability to put a lot of car into not a lot of space, rather than Lamborghini, who gave us a jewel-encrusted Rolex when we just want to tell the time, not show it off at parties. I'm Patrio, and thanks for watching Forza Versus, and remember, Enjoy the drive.